Hi everyone, this is Nuala.
And this is Matt.
We're from Evolve Health Store in Enniscorthy. And today we're going to talk about transition. Now, this is a funny subject, you might think, transition. But there's lots of transitions in life, isn't there, Matt?
That's so true. Yes, there are.
I mean, we have children transitioning from play school to big school,
Bigger
as they'd
school,
call it,
yeah.
and then from national school to secondary school, and that's just one of the transitions in a child's life, going right up to college. And so we have that aspect, but then we have all sorts of transitioning in our lives. For some of us who are retiring, and there's people getting new jobs and transitioning from your bicycle to becoming a car owner and driving, and it goes on, the list is endless.
It's very true, actually. Yeah, when you start thinking about it, those shifts that we make are a big deal, and the fact that everybody else doesn't seem to think that'll be any bother to you doesn't mean that it isn't very challenging. Even you can be staying in the same job or in the same workplace, but you're given a new role, you're given a new set of duties that you have to transition to being up for. And I suppose that's the whole subject matter for today.
And why we're talking about it, because we believe that you should look after your nervous system when you're doing this and supporting your body to get through this major transition, because we make a lot of demands on our body, don't we, Matt?
We certainly do, and I think it's our brain that make even the biggest demands on our body.
Yeah.
So it's not to be underestimated, the amount of pressure and stress that we put on ourselves when we're doing big shifts and big changes in life.
I think a lot of people separate their mind from their body and think that because they're mind over matter. Where I think that phrase can work in some things, but it can work against you, because you're saying, if I really, concentrate on getting what I want, but I don't know that my nervous system is actually on overload, and then the immune system goes down.
Yeah.
Because the two are connected,
interlinked, absolutely. And I mean, even when we're under that, when we're saying, okay, it's mind over matter, I just have to focus and concentrate, that still doesn't make it any easier for your nervous system to cope. Your nervous system is what's, in a sense, running the show and coping with all the demands, the psychological, the emotional demands that we're putting on the system, and supporting that will make it easier for you to feel okay as you're making that shift and that change. And I think that's the focus of today's video and information.
Yes, it's just about looking at your body and not seeing it as something you give orders to, but to say, what do you need to get us through this transition without collapsing in a heap? It's almost like when people SWAT for exams, they think that it's okay to be absolutely wrecked all the time because you're obviously studying so hard.
Yeah.
But that's not really what's going on here. You can do these things and go through them with much more ease and peace of mind than you think that it just should be hard.
And I think also the influence that the body can bring to the mind is a big one too to factor in. So therefore, if we are making a big shift in our role in the world, going for a walk in the outdoors, in the forest, touching the grass, go for a walk on the beach and have a bit of a swim or whatever it may be, that can actually unload a lot of the stress out of the situation.
Touch with your body.
It really does, and it reminds you that life is actually not all about just this one thing, that life is much bigger than that, and it's helping you to put it all into proportion, and to just see it as the part that you're focused on a lot.
One of the things that I think is funny is that, when you go through a transition, maybe somebody close to you has died, and you have to transition into being without that person. There is kind of an empathy from people and a support. But when you go through a transition that's really happy, everyone expects you. Like, for instance, when you have a baby,
Okay.
You should be absolutely delighted
Okay.
with yourself, and you are. There's no doubt about it. But it's all after taking its toll on your body, on your hormonal system, on your nervous system, and often you feel this conflict because you're exhausted and elated
Okay, yeah,
all at the
yeah,
same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And so we're far more tolerant, I think, when going through a tough transition rather than a happy transition. So
Sure.
we need to address that because people feel they can't express that they're actually exhausted and they're feeling very, stressed about their new situation, even though it's a happy one.
Yeah, interesting point. All right, yeah, that even in a sense in victory there are other stresses and strains that appear at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
juncture.
pressure on you to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not life. Life is challenging the best of times, so and we're not taken away from people who are transitioning into grief. That's really important,
Yeah.
that you get support for yourself. And one of the products I always love is New Vistas Myself. I'm always talking about that because it is something that supports your whole system
Yeah.
and works. It works
Yeah.
really well and gives you the little boost of energy you need. So what about the nervous system, Matt,
Okay.
and why it's important to explain to people why
Yeah.
it's important, because it's so interconnected with your immune system.
Well, change is stress, and if we just learn that, to put those two things together, all change is stress. There is no easy change. As far as your nervous system is concerned, all change is a problem that has to be solved, is a challenge that has to be encountered. So when we're doing change of any sort, if we support our nervous system, then that's going to make it more well capable of coping. And one of the things which I love to do that with is to use a B complex. So a B complex are all of the B vitamins, and they are all burned much faster when we're dealing with a bit of stress. And vitamin C is in there as well, so we could put all those together. They're all in the same family. But by taking an extra amount of those during our time of stress, then we're giving the raw materials to the nervous system in order to help it to cope that bit
You're
better.
giving it the fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the nervous system burns through today's supply that we got from the diet quickly, and is then feels a bit jittery afterwards, feels as if it can't cope because it doesn't have the things that it usually goes to in order to keep things under control. And that's why we can sometimes feel that we're losing it a bit when we're under a lot of pressure, because your nervous system doesn't have what it needs to help it to cope. So if we just thought about those simple two things of vitamin C and B complex, it'd be a great support for your system to go through during times of change. And ideally you do it twice per day. You do it morning time and again in the evening time, because B's and C's all wash out with our body fluids during the day, so doing it twice per day is by far
It's
the
a
best.
really good idea.
Yeah.
And if you have people who are suffering from sleeplessness during the stressful time, it would be very good to give them magnesium.
Oh, certainly would. And again, it directly addressing the issue, which can be the nervous system being a little bit too wound up.
It's cracking up.
Yeah.
And I'd also recommend the Source of Life Gold, because Source of Life Gold is full of B vitamins, but it also has lots and lots of other wonderful things that would give you energy.
Yeah.
And it's something that you need when you're transitioning. You need energy. So I think that would be a very good product. You'll get your B vitamins and you're getting
And a whole
extra.
lot of extras.
Yeah.
A whole lot of extras to give you that little bit of a boost in energy, which wouldn't be lost as well as we go through challenge. So yeah,
And
no, it's a lovely
definitely,
one.
if your kids are moving schools or colleges or whatever, the bush flower remedies, and these will be below the video, so you'll be able to see the bush flower remedy transition is excellent as a flower remedy. And we also have the homeopathic remedy Myself, which is very, very good to take with other medications or whatever. It won't clash with anything.
Right. Yeah.
And I would suggest that everyone be on B complex
Yeah.
and magnesium.
Those two alone would make a great difference to getting you through a transition in one piece and being able to, in a sense, enjoy the fruits of your labours when you get to the other side.
And don't forget to go for a walk, go for a swim,
Yeah, do the basics.
do whatever you have to do. A bit of journaling, write down how you're feeling, have a good friend to talk to. Don't expect that you can't complain a bit, because you are going through a huge change. And if there's anything you want to know, just give us a shout and we'll answer your questions as best we can. So that's it from us for this week, and happy transitioning, and until next time, cheerio.
See you soon.